Howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast number 510, Osh Prep. Trust you guys are doing well, having a marvelous, toasty time out there. Baby birds are just all over the place here. We even have, sadly, one pine siskin that got parasitized by a cowbird. So it's busy feeding a chick that is almost twice its size. But it's been absolutely amazing. Our Lewis is still here, had three adult and two pretty grown up kids. They've been a challenge to photograph, but the fawns, oh man, they're busy frolicking like crazy. Sadly, a number of the times is when the light really sucks. It's been really hot. We had 100-degree temps just the other day here in the Bitterroot. So hopefully you're staying hydrated, full of sunblock, covered, shooting like crazy. And I thank you for coming aside and listening a little bit to the podcast. This episode of the Moose Podcast is being recorded by Adobe Beta, and it's a really great little simple podcasting media creation that they have. You get through your Adobe subscription. Really saves me because it's what not only records and cleans up the voice, but creates the transcript that you will find there on the website for the podcast blog post, as well as links to what I might be talking about, gear I might be recommending, and or books. You also can listen to the podcast in many other places. I assume you know those because, hey, you're listening to the podcast. But on Spotify and YouTube, you can leave comments. And please feel free to start a conversation. That's why I'm here to help. So, voice away. Been kind of a quiet week. I've had my nose to the grindstone. Everything from creating a couple new presentations for my Denver appearance next or September 11th. That's coming up faster than the last 6 weeks have flown. And working on that and some Kelby 1 classes. So don't have a whole lot to mention, but I have added some new items to my doodad list that you can find there at the bottom right corner, very, very bottom right corner of the landing page for the website. So be sure to check it out. Hey, my good friends at Bedford, bedfords.com, they've got coming up in just a couple days the Photo Expo at Little Rock. They're in Arkansas, 17th to 18th. You know, they've got classes and workshops. They have all these pre-expo events. They have the big, huge trade show. Talk to different manufacturer representatives, try gear. I love they have you go out and photograph the Friday night baseball game. Such great door prizes. You can trade in used gear. They have photo walks, classes. It is just a huge event. And of course, they have show specials, which on everything they've got there, it's going to have show specials. You can get the Moose discount. Yeah, just mention Moose after you check out. You'll see sincere, honest money given back to you. Besides that, they've just got the greatest people, which you get to meet in person. Most of the time, if you're like me, you probably are calling them up. I don't have a store near me. I wish I did. Well, yes and no. I don't know if I could stay away, so that'd be bad for the wallet, but it's so much fun going to Bedford's, talking to those folks. Give them a call, check them out, find out what all those people who have gone there email me and say, thanks for recommending and getting that Moose discount, what Bedford's is all about. And while you're there, thank them for sponsoring the Moose Podcast. It's been many years. I think Sharon and I figured out it's been 6 years since we've been to Osh. It's way too long, and we can't wait to get back there. Next week's podcast will be coming from Osh, in fact. So, prepping for Osh. There's a number of things involved to make Osh really, really just a slam dunk, great photographic experience. Um, and some of them have nothing to do with camera gear. So I wanted to give you a little insight of what I do, what we do to prep to be at Osh to make the most of the event. If you haven't already got yourself lodging or spot for your RV like we have, it can be a little bit of a challenge, but don't give up. There are a lot of folks in Oshkosh that actually rent out rooms or their home during the week. Go out and look. You'd be surprised how much is there. Then you get into the actual airport, the event center. What do you do? How do you deal with it? How do you, once you've woken up, you're ready to go? Well, that's what I want to talk about. So there's a number of things on the checklist. Number one, sincerely, this is a sincere list. It's not just to fill up time on a podcast. The number one thing you need to make sure you have is sunblock. There is limited to zero shade, zero. Okay. So you need to have sunblock and you're out in the sun. Yeah. And you're out all day. If you're going to go there, you're going to spend all day. That's essential. Sunblock. Apply it. Trust me, as someone who has had a family member die from skin cancer, I'm here to tell you it's serious stuff, okay? Sunblock. Number two, most important thing you need to make sure is you've got great, super great walking shoes. And I'm serious here. You walk and walk. If you're lucky if you only do 20,000 steps a day at Osh. That would be a really slow day. We're talking about lots of walking, and there's not a ton of chairs. So, really important. Number three on that list, hydrate. Hydrate, hydrate. As pilots say, if you're not heading to the head at least every 2 hours, if not sooner, you're not drinking enough fluids. Okay? Because if you are got sunburned skin, if your feet are killing you and you're not hydrating, your photography is going to go down the tubes. I've seen it. I've seen it happen with folks. I've had to help folks get past these three basics. I know it sounds like really like that's kind of common sense, Moose. Why are we going over that? Because I've had to help people out there who don't follow these first three important steps. And then your photography that you're there for suffers. Makes no sense. Heed my warning, okay? It's really important. Now, when it comes to actually working Oshkosh, you have the afternoon air show. That means you have the morning, midday kind of, you could say to yourself. A number of things that you can do photographically. But one thing that always amazes me when I was out there shooting, especially with Brent and Jake, is we would go out at sunrise and there's nobody out there amongst the aircraft. Now at Oshkosh, you don't have all these ropes and barriers and things that keep you away from the planes. You're there. And you've got vintage, you've got warbirds, you've got two. If you go just to those two locales, you'll find that the 9-day event is not enough days to photograph in the morning all the aircraft there. Seriously. So this means you really have to get up while it's still dark. You really should start walking to where you want to photograph. Maybe when there's a slight glow in the eastern skies, but you might want to be before that because you want to figure out what aircraft you want to do, and don't try to do them all. And try to look at ones that are graphically in a great location. The graphics of the plane are really cool. And then make the most of that first light on those aircraft. Yes, you'll do more, but find, you could say, the cherry one to start with. That's what I always look for. I'm looking for ones that either I have a mission to get because I'll be working for EA while I'm there. I will be working for clients. Lastly is moi. So that's kind of my priority list of how I get to pick aircraft. If you don't have that, then you just get to do stuff for yourself, and that's just Shangri-La. So check out those opportunities, and you might look the night before what aircraft are present, where they're parked, and kind of make a battle plan. Now, they do have a shuttle service, for lack of better terms. There are these trailers that are pulled by tractors that work really well. So get the map for the entire event. Look at where those shuttle stops are. Plan. There is nothing worse than start walking towards the plane you want to photograph. Either A, it's not there because you didn't check the night before, or B, the light's already gone because you're late. So number 4 on that list of things to do, you got sunblock, shoes, hydration. The next one, if you can, is sleep. So when the light gets really kind of hard, have a bite to eat, drink, and maybe catch a little shut-eye, because you're going to find out that these are really long days and really short nights. Then you have the afternoon air show. Where should you be? Show center, left, or right? I'm here to tell you, you want to look at the wind. You want to look at the wind. Where's the wind blowing from? You'll have performers that will be using smoke. You'll have pyrotechnics going off that cause smoke. If you happen to be what you think is the best spot at show center, because that's where all the acts kind of do they base their performance on show center, but you've got the wind putting the smoke right there. No matter what the plane's doing, if it's got smoke around it, you're not going to get the shot you want. Yes, smoke can add to the photograph, but think it through. Look at where that wind is taking the smoke. Kind of put yourself at the other place where that smoke's not ending up. So then you can use the smoke as a background, not as a, fogging device for your photographs. And then plan where you want to be. Take your time. Make your shots. There are a number of times where they'll have 10, 12, 14 aircraft at one time performing in front of you. When they do the different, let's say they do a World War II trainer, and they'll have, the T-6 and the Stearman and the Ryan, they'll all, the Fairchild, they'll all be flying. Pick the aircraft that you're looking to want, and then follow it. Get those shots. And then once you're sure you have those shots, go to the next aircraft type. If you're doing a single performer, understand that they're going to do the basic same routine day after day. So if you are fortunate enough to be there for a day or two, and you have a performance, say Janken's out there in his beach, which is just a great performance. Look at where he's going to be at certain times with certain gestures, and then remember that so you can be in the right place to get that shot if that's what you're looking for. So like anything photographic, Osh takes planning. Now, how about gear? Everybody's going to ask about gear. I keep it real simple because it's on me all day long. It's not like, you can go back and refresh, and it's an all day process, and it'll start beating you down, especially if you don't have sunblock on. You start getting sunburn. Your shoes, your feet are killing, and you're not hydrating. It will really beat you down. And beating sun on blacktop, that tarmac, that can be brutal because you're getting that sun intensity from above and below through reflected light. So I'm going to have my Mountainsmith. The link will be there on the blog post for the podcast. You can also find it in the doodad list. And the Mountainsmith, I've got the harness, so it goes around my shoulders, and then it buckles around my waist. Had a couple people already email asking about security and worrying about that stuff. I have never had any issues at Oshkosh. I'm sure they happen because human nature is sadly human nature. I've not had that issue. I worry about taking care of myself, and it seems to work out just fine. The Mountainsmith, it's going to have in it the 70-200 282 Z mirrorless lens. It's going to have the Z 24 to 72.82 lens. It's going to have and on the 24 to 72.8, no, probably the center pocket cube, take it back, we'll have the Z8, body only, no grip, and it'll be attached to the 70 to 200 282. Then in the inside pockets, it's going to be the Z24 to 72.8 and the Z14 to 24. Those will be my inside zippered up, in case it rains, waterproof compartment for my gear. One of the side pockets is going to have the Profoto A10. The other one is going to have water bottle, water. And the water bottle I like is that one you'll find on the doodad list. Keeps water cold, and when it gets hot, cold water makes a really big thing. And at this point, I have a commercial for you. You'll find on the east end of the field there at Oshkosh the most amazing ice cream stand. You'll find me there most afternoons, probably just prior to the air show. Sharon and I love to have our ice cream. That has been a tradition since our very first Oshkosh 20 years ago. And if you haven't been to that stand, it is great. So check out ice cream. Cool, moisture, some calories. Yummy. All right, back to it. Now, I will have outside of that Mountain Smith, I'll have on a long, the old Nikon Rapid strap, I'll have the Z9 attached to the Z180 to 600. And on the 180 600, I have a older lens lens coat. The sleeve, this prototype sleeve they made, I don't think they ever sold it, that if I'm not using that lens, will go on that, protect the lens and the body from any kind of hitting up against the side of a building or a fence or anything while I'm walking. And that's all I have, as well as a hat. I will have my brimmed hat on because I don't want any more to worry about skin cancer. That's my basic, you could say, kit for Osh. Now, if you have questions about this, you know where to head, right, folks? You're going to head either to Spotify, where you can ask questions. You're going to head to YouTube, where you can ask questions, and I will answer them anytime they happen to appear, which includes while I'm at Osh. It's an absolutely marvelous event. If you've not been to it, I can't recommend enough heading to Oshkosh. I will have a more, you could say, detailed shooting guide for some of the aircraft that will be at Osh in a blog post later on Wednesday, a couple days. So you can check that out for more specifics about where to find planes and things to think about. But in the meantime, that kind of wraps up my basic Osh prep. Hope to see you there. Have a great week and make every click your story.